gonna say something.
I was gonna say something, but that's for Nas at Night.
Give us a little flavor of this Nas at Night. Tell us a little something
Nas
controversial.
at Nas at Night is the controversial redheaded stepchild of Not a Strong Start podcast, where we dive into a lot of interpersonal relationships, stories, stuff that you would talk about at night
Amongst your friends.
amongst your friends in a nice little circle. Jerk. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I
Rated
could
X.
tell Jose's excited for that one.
Jose's like, I will have nothing to do with any of this.
He's like, I don't even want to produce it. Take my name
Don't
off.
even give me producing credit. Don't nope, nothing. Yeah. It's coming. Yeah. You know what? It's like Robert Rodriguez's movie that he's releasing in 100 years.
Hey, which was one of the current events that we talked about in the show.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to know a little bit about that, go back to one of our prior episodes. And here's the fun part. I won't even tell you. So you have to watch them all.
Yeah. And here's
Just to
another
find
fun
out.
part. I don't even think he knows what episode it is.
That's also true, sir. I really don't. It was just somewhere in the beginning.
It was episode 3.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Nah, I made that shit.
Here's another Nas made up fact. Woo! I'm doing Chuck's finger points, but
Yeah.
on that note, welcome everybody back to Not a Strong Start, a movie podcast by filmmakers who talk movies, television, and reference everybody to watch our past episodes without even us remembering what episodes they're on. We have great history, guys, with this show. Off to a phenomenal start. Yeah, so I am your host. I'm Batman.
I'm El Batman.
I'm Batgirl, and I got fucking canceled just like I always do every time on this podcast.
I mean, in fairness, though, you did kind of deserve to get canceled.
Yeah.
Kind of. We're being honest here. This episode is all about honesty, right?
Yeah.
And we're honestly talking about the debacle that's going to be Warner Brothers and what's been going on over here. They didn't have an honest look at themselves in the mirror and figure their shit out and get it right. Because for us growing up, back in the 80s, 90s, Warner Brothers was like, when I would see a Warner Brothers project, I had faith and confidence in them. Like when they were releasing movie, the original Batman with Michael Keaton, they had their stuff in order. They were doing good movies. Lately, it's just like, what is going on? Like all their dirty laundry has been airing out for all of us to see and read. And it's just, it's crazy, man. Like Batgirl, it cost what, 70 million, something like that, right?
90.
Between
90? Jesus. And they literally said, oh, it's just going to be a tax write-off. They literally used that. So it's like, man, well, bad for all the Latinos, man. Like the filmmakers that worked on this.
Their decision, as we'll get into, their decision making, especially over the last year, has been suspect, to say the least.
Yeah. All right. So first, let's hit them with the current event.
So as we know, recently, Ring of Power was released on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I guess they had to turn off the comments and the ratings for it to prevent review bombing of the show, because so many people were going in to give it low ratings. So that was one of the things that they had to do. I don't know if it's still active, but for a little bit there, after the 2 episodes released, they did have to shut that down to kind of save face a little.
Yeah.
Just, are we hating or quitting that? Is it out yet?
It's out. Yeah.
It came out.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 episodes.
Yeah. I only saw the pilot. I only saw the first episode so far.
How was it?
It's visually, it looks really nice. Like it's gorgeous to look at. And the CG is way better than Game of Thrones.
Oh,
like
shit.
it's
We're losing him. You're losing Jose. We're losing him, dude. We're losing him.
We lost him. Yeah. Okay.
I thought I was watching Ring of Power. Sorry.
Did you watch the pilot too?
I watched the first 2 episodes.
And that's, yeah, man. But it's slow. It's slow.
Really?
And I'm such a huge Game of Thrones fan over Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings has always been soft. It's nice. It's sweet. I like the gore, man. I like cutthroat. I like the politics. I like the manipulation where characters don't feel safe. Lord of the Rings, like the characters feel safe. You know what I'm saying? The dangers don't feel as dangerous.
Yeah, for me it feels like Game of Thrones is for adults, and they like the House of Dragons, and then like Ring of Power is for the kids if they want to watch something similar but be okay. What do you guys think? Because I feel, especially over the last few years, this has become a common thing for all different reasons. Sometimes for legit reasons, sometimes for idiotic reasons. But the review bombing has become like a
Yeah.
huge thing when it comes to media, TV shows, movies, video games, that people just go in droves. Sometimes people who didn't even watch or play whatever it was, and they're just like, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star because this actor is in it, or 1 star, 1 star, one
Yeah.
star because this scene happens.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that trend?
Shitty. It sucks, And
Yeah.
there's an actor, right, in the Ring of Power that people are mad about, right?
Ooh.
I know in House of Dragon there was one. They were mad that me
No,
one of the characters black, but I don't know about Ring of
yeah,
Power.
I think the same thing with Ring of
Oh,
Power.
yes. There's a dude that's in it, and I think they were calling him like, where they're saying he looks like Obama or something like that, like an Obama elf
Yeah.
or something. I read somebody
Oh,
read
Yeah, it's
I
a
know
black dude.
which
Yeah,
that
character.
guy,
Yeah.
and they're trying to say, "Oh, Lord of the Rings is woke." It's like, what? We can't cast people of color anymore without it just being labeled as woke. Like, fuck off, man. Like, stop. Let our minorities get roles, please. Stop making it
They're,
an issue.
they're like, what? Elves? Elves of other ethnicities? What?
yeah, it's shitty. That sucks, especially for all the people that put in all that work and living their, life dream, just to get fucking bashed and review bombed. Like it's shitty.
Yeah, dude. I've experienced it on my own, and the feature that I had before it even got released, people already were going negative. It was like, you haven't even seen it. So like, I've seen it, man. Like, it's stupid, and people do it just for humor, but they don't understand how the ratings and stuff messes up the success of a project. Like, that's jacked up. And I just think it's like such a waste of time, and it's like loser mentality. Like, who the hell has time, especially when time is so valuable? You just want to sit here and shit on something just because you're upset about something, or you just think it's cool, you just think it's funny. Like, what's the fucking point, man? It's just stupid. It's lame.
Yeah, I was looking at our YouTube page that was adding stuff on like tags, I think,
Yeah.
and you can see the percentages. Like I saw them like on the likes, and it was like 100, 100, and then we had one that was like 85. I'm like, what the fuck? We got review bombed? What the hell, dude?
Right. And you see it, it's like, man, they didn't like really listen to it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's her mom's being critical, man. Her mom said no.
I was like, I think that was my mom. I was like, Mom, can you change that, please? Can you give it a thumbs up or at least nothing?
Too late, mijo. Too late.
Yeah.
She's like, sorry, lost my password.
It's not that it's not good, it's that it can be better.
Yeah. She goes, one thing I taught you when you were young was honesty. Honesty.
She's like, and you are lying all the time. No, she did tell me the other day. She's like, oh, your thing came up on YouTube today, and you're F this, F that, F this. She's like, do you know any other words? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, she's like, you're a doctor. What are you doing?
And here we are starting this episode with a bunch of F-bombs too. Okay, let's go ahead into our episode then. We want to really tackle this whole Warner Brothers debacle. So hit us with it. Jose, what do you have regarding the merger?
Basically, as we know, this merger was announced, I believe it was like last year that this was going to happen, but it actually ended up closing back in April of this year. So when they finally closed. And then the CEO, and this merges between Warner Brothers and Discovery. So I don't believe it was an acquisition or a buyout. It's just kind of both merging together. But the CEO from Discovery became the overall CEO of both. Of course, some positions were redundant, so people moved on. But a lot of the Discovery people kind of kept their roles, which I think is interesting and is already playing a role in the direction that they've gone. And we've seen, and we've had discussions, we've seen before in the past, properties ending up being pulled under one name. Disney is a big example. They got the Star Wars property, they pulled it in, they pulled in the Marvel property. Then recently there was the Fox, and they bought out Fox and they pulled those properties in. So it can be successful. You guys viewed that as successful the way they were able to pull those properties under one umbrella?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, everything under kind of one umbrella. I mean, the only thing that I would say is some of the more riskier stuff kind of gets kind of like properties or like projects. Like Deadpool, or I don't know. We'll see what happens with Daredevil stuff that's kind of rated R. But as far as like the merger and taking stuff that these properties, like, yeah, sure, I guess. Unless you guys don't think so with
Yeah,
Star Wars,
so
but
I
I'm
think
not a
for
Star
me, it's
Wars
like
guy, so I
the
don't
whole
know.
idea of this is because we look at it from film heads, right? We're film fans, so we always think, how does this affect the movies? But when you have these mergers or you have these acquisitions, it's business based. So everything's all about the product you have, is about the revenue and keeping your bottom line. Is it a net profit or is it a net loss? Warner Brothers has been taking a lot of net losses on some of these things because they're paying so much more for advertisements and marketing, and they're not quite seeing the ROI. They're not seeing the return on investment. So for the way that Disney has done it, they're acquiring these things and they're hugely making it profitable. So even for your take with Star Wars, even if I think Star Wars has been good since they've had it, or has been bad, it's irrelevant. They bought it off of George Lucas for $4 billion, and by the time episode 7 or 8 came out, it was already worth like 10 billion, I think, that they made off of it. They've already doubled what they paid for it. So they're already back on the green regarding everything. Then you incorporate the merchandising, all the Star Wars land that they have. It became a massive success. When they took over for Marvel, they had to license out their characters. So you had, what was it? Like Sony was doing some, Fox was doing some, Disney acquired them and made everything in-house now. And the Marvel movies were hugely successful since they started doing that. And they put one man, Kevin Feige, behind it. So they still kept true to the creative idea behind it by putting people in place. The Kathleen Kennedys that they had there. So they put the right people in place. Warner Brothers has been, for the most part, a disaster with how they've come out with these, because there's no head person that's overseeing everything. They're constantly changing out management. They have different filmmakers that are trying their own way of doing it. And what they saw for Zack Snyder regarding his whole Snyderverse, they entrusted him to be like a Kevin Feige of, you're going to create this universe for us. The problem was,
Kevin
it
Feige,
just
yeah.
Snyder wasn't executing to that level. And they didn't like it. There was backlash on the movies. And then, of course, we know what happened on Justice League regarding, him. And then later they had to replace him with Joss Whedon. So it was already a disaster. They completely forced, in order to keep up with the Avengers, they really expedited Justice League, and the characters didn't properly set up and develop. So from a business standpoint, Warner Brothers was just, no, man, they were doing everything wrong from a business standpoint.
This thing, any merger initially, especially if you have two big companies or anything coming together, and here in this merger, both of them put together were projected by the end of this year to make 49 billion. So these are not small companies. So it always initially comes with hype. So it's what a company does, those initial first steps to go off of that hype is, I think, what kind of decides things. When Disney acquired Fox, of course it was hype. People were thinking like, oh my God, Fantastic Four, all this character. What is
X-Men,
Disney gonna
yeah.
do with this? What is Disney gonna do with that? So there was all this hype. And
X-Men,
yeah,
mutants, yeah.
exactly. And Disney didn't do anything crazy to kill the hype. And they even threw out little hints here and there, like, hey, this is coming at some point in the future, to kind of go along with what people were hyped about. Warner Brothers hasn't done that. Once the hype like came in, it's just kind of, and we'll get into the timeline, it's just been iffy decision after iffy decision. There's just pulling the
Yeah.
confidence from us
Yeah.
in what they're going to do, like, going forward. And this is a company, even before this merger, as you hinted at, Dan, they've had all these shifting positions, this person in charge, this person in charge. Oh, we gave this person like a 2-movie trial, it didn't work, let's switch it to this person. So they've already set up even before this merger this inconsistency.
One little nugget there of Disney acquiring Fox. They now own the Alien franchise, Chuck, which makes the Queen Alien now a Disney princess, my friend. When I heard that, I was like, I got super excited about that too. I'm like, look, X-Men Fantastic Four, absolutely, because I know they'll do it right. But I'm like, wait, they own Alien franchise too? Oh shit! I'm interested in that, my friends.
That might be another Hulu reboot because Disney owns Hulu, and they won't release something like that through Disney Plus or under the Disney name, but they can do it through one of their subsidiaries and maybe release it through Hulu.
I swear that they're doing, or there was talks of doing an Alien TV show.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's not an Oz made up fact.
He's gonna rage quit the episode.
Fuck this, I'm looking it up.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I bet they're going to space after, right? But I think kind of getting into the timeline of the WB, one of the first things that they announced is they were going to do cutting about $3 billion in cost with merging of the companies. That was the first thing. So that already, whether it's a good cutting or not, once you start hitting cutting $3 billion, people's red flags go up. Like, wait, what do you mean you're cutting? Where are you cutting this from? Is this from projects? Is this, are we going to lose on this?
Yeah.
So
and
that was
now you actually touched on something that I wanted to get your opinion on, because Discovery is kind of a random, to me, it was kind of random that Warner Brothers is merging with them. Like, what do they know about, like superhero products and all that stuff? But the moves you see them making, it's very business. So they're getting like to right now, the process is, well, fuck the movies. If we don't see a wide, like Batgirl, great, you guys spent 90 million on this thing, but it doesn't have the wide appeal. And if we're not going to make like $500 million off of this, we're not releasing the thing. So they're looking at net profit. So they're turning the business around of, we're going to make money off of this, period. We're going to make money, and then we'll focus on the quality of product, and at least that's what they're kind of preaching about, the quality of product. Now, are we actually going to get that? We don't know, because even the projects that they're telling us are good regarding the superheroes like Aquaman 2 and The Flash, they're even having been dragged down with controversy. So they still have issues on the horizon as well. And that's why it's like, you truly need to get rid of the demons in order to really come out of this thing with the fresh new pair. But right now, what they're going to be releasing still has controversy attached to it. So
their thought process with joining these together is HBO Max. This is what they offer. This is everything that it offers. Discovery Plus offers a completely different palette of stuff. So if we join them together, now we offer to a broader audience over. That's their mindset going forward, which, by the way, they had and people were upset, a tone-deaf presentation and graphic when they were announcing this. They put Discovery Plus and HBO, and they put the type of people that like watch these. And it was like HBO, it was like male-centric. Discovery Plus, female like centric. And it was just so like stereotypical. And that's the graphic they put out there. And people are like, are you tone deaf? Like, what is your PR group thinking? Like, actually,
you see what I mean? Every time they try to break out of this, like, guys, I promise we're something new, we're something different. They still do shit like this. Like, you're still choosing the wrong people. You're not wrong in what you think you have to do. You're putting the wrong people in positions, or there's no filter system. Like, whatever it is, how do you not know that? Like, as we know, there are demographics. We do find out wherever we're trending, right? We see who our demographic group is. Is it males? Is it females? In our particular show, it kind of sways sometimes. You also get like age brackets. So we start to know who we're catering to, which kind of helps tailor the content that we're putting out there. But you don't put that out for people to see that. Like, that's internal stuff. Why would us Warner Brother viewers or audience watching this care about that stuff? Don't tell me what HBO Max is or whatever. Like, don't tell me this stuff.
Yeah, and kind of staying into the streaming service aspect of it. So again, if right now they're still separate, eventually they're gonna merge. but they're already starting some aspects of it. They announced that in October they're gonna start moving some of those unscripted like home repair shows over to HBO Max. Uh, so yeah, they're already starting to kind of shift some things over. And this is my worry by what I've read and listened to so far is that if they merge them together, Discovery lives off of cheap to produce, unscripted shows, while HBO Max is expensive movies, TV shows that might not bring back the same overhead that you would get with Discovery Plus. So if they're going with the business aspect of this, how long before HBO Max or their merge, whatever they call it, ends up being mostly unscripted Discovery Plus type shows and less of what we come to expect with HBO Max, especially considering just a few months ago, every year they run a poll of like customer satisfaction with streaming services, and HBO Max had the highest percentage of customer satisfaction. People really enjoy HBO Max. Netflix was like on number 4. So it's like now you built that up there and you're going to slowly try to crumble it down.
This was one of those rare moments that I hope you said it was a Nas made up fact. That's where I'm like, they're really moving those, man. I hate when I get again, I get it from a business standpoint, but I don't like watching those type of shows. That's not my jam, you know. I like what we talked about, and it's quality content, and that to me is not quality content. You know, it's quantity. You're just giving me a bunch of cheap. That's it, man. I understand for Discovery
trying to make money too.
You don't have those type of, you know, it's not the same name pool where it's like, yo, did you check out the new Discovery show? Yeah, man, that documentary on bats was the fucking tits. Like, who the fuck's watching that shit? Some people do. I mean, by all means, I'm not, you know, hating on that, but that's just not my thing. Like, I like scripted stuff, but
I'm just like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what? I mean, I guess I know what they're doing. They're trying to make money, but as far as like, you know, some of these unscripted stuff, so like, you know, for creative content, it doesn't feel like that's what we're getting. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they've greenlit like one movie the last 6 months, and it was like The Joker Part 2. You know, so it's like that's it, you know. And they canceled Batgirl, and I think they're moving forward though, man, with Blue Beetle.
Okay, so why even just go to the extent of deleting the damn movie? Like, you just scrapped it all. Damn.
Oh, I actually have more information on that aspect. So the reason why they're doing it is part of their $3 billion like costing is they decided, because Batgirl was created strictly for HBO Max, so it was a lower budget compared to these type of movies. It was made in streaming TV quality, not theater quality. So they saw that they weren't gonna, according to them, they weren't gonna make money off of this. So they were gonna do it as a write-off. So they're doing the screening funeral for it, where they're going to show it to the people involved once, and then they're either going to vault it or delete it. They're doing that to basically improve their tax write-off option, because it's to prove to the IRS that, look, we're never going to profit off of this. We deleted it. So we're never going to profit out of it. So I don't know too much how it works financially, but maybe it affects the type of write-off that you get, because they know for sure that you're never going to profit off of it. But that was the reason they made that decision, even though they said like, fuck everyone who put, you know, their heart and sweat into this. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, because the Batgirl wasn't the only thing that was canceled. They also, which I was disappointed, they canceled the new Batman animated series that we're putting out, which had J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves was behind it, and Bruce Timm, who
they're
was
scrapping
part
it? It's
of
not
the
coming back?
original, the great Batman animated series. It's this. They
That
they never
too?
even released.
Yeah, they canceled
deleted
it. Damn.
I mean, well, they canceled it. They canceled it. Yeah, they're trying to sell it to other networks, but it will not be part of their repertoire.
Yeah.
And this was big names behind that, and like a huge following, because of Bruce Timm, who's part of the
Why are
original,
they
which is still
scrapping it?
considered one of
Why?
the best animated series that there is. Well, the CEO actually he came out and he has said that they don't plan on prioritizing family or kid content. It makes sense. They canceled the Batman animated, they canceled the Scooby-Doo holiday movie, they
Yeah.
canceled 2 Looney Tune movies that were set to come out.
Wow.
So it's like it seems like, which sucks because,
That show was
and
catered to us, Jose. That show was
yeah,
catered to us. It wasn't catered to kids.
yeah,
Dude, they used to have Bugs Bunny on their fucking logo eating a fucking carrot, like
yeah.
when it would come out, like right next to the WB, and now they're like not catering to kid content.
So what are they doing?
Listen, and like I think you guys will agree with me. While the movies have overall been a failure as a whole, the DC animated movies are great
Are amazing.
overall.
They're
Yeah.
so fucking good. Dude.
So those are animated. What's gonna happen to those?
They're so good, dude. Some of those movies are better than live action DC and Marvel, and some of the Marvel movies like
They've been good, man.
Apocalypse War, or something like that, like Flashpoint.
What if he considers that family and kid content, decides like, we're not going to worry about those anymore? That's something that we're losing as a viewership.
Dude, they decapitated Shazam as a kid in one of those movies, dude. By the way, with Batgirl, they deleted Batgirl, but Brendan Fraser's in that, right? He was the bad guy?
Yeah, he was in it.
Which is crazy, dude, because I don't mean this as a joke, but he's gonna blow up, dude. He did The Whale with Darren Aronofsky.
Why
Yeah.
why were you not making that a joke, Chuck? What are you implying?
Well, because he's getting bigger, he's gained some weight,
That's what I wanted. That's
yeah,
what I wanted.
Yeah.
I fucking I know it's off topic, but like I fucking love Brendan Fraser though.
Did you see his moment?
I did, but they added prosthetics to him though in The Whale. He's not that big of what you're seeing.
No, but he is bigger though. He's not.
He is bigger,
He's a.
I'm proud for him, man. I'm proud for him.
No,
I'm a Brendan Fraser
dude.
fan. Yeah, hell yeah.
Dude,
That was a great moment. At his
dude.
comeback, his 6-minute standing ovation. He was like crying. For those who didn't see it
Dude,
or
imagine
listening,
if he wins an Oscar.
I hope he does, dude. I fucking love Brendan Fraser, dude.
Too,
and they did a thing for him too in Batgirl when it was his birthday. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they stopped filming. They stopped everything to sing happy birthday to him when he's like crying and stuff. Like,
good, man, that's dope.
Like,
and then they delete it. Fucking.
And then they delete it. I know,
bastard.
dude. He deserves it, dude.
And Michael Keaton was in it, man. Right? Wasn't he in that one? Like, he was in scenes and they deleted it, and it's like, you bastards.
That's a good transition into one of the other things going on in WB Discovery now. So we have The Flash and we have Aquaman coming out. Okay, and originally I believe it was supposed to be The Flash coming out and then Aquaman. So I guess in The Flash, that's when we were supposed to get Keaton to come out, and then Keaton come out in Aquaman, which is after the fact. But then with delays, Flash got pushed. Then they ended up switching spots. So then it turns out it wasn't going to make sense to put in Michael Keaton because he hadn't been introduced yet. So then that's supposedly why Ben Affleck was brought in, and it was kind of refilmed with Ben Affleck. So then he can go in, and then Keaton can still come out in The Flash, most likely. But then now Aquaman got delayed, and now they're flipped again. So now it's like, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to go back to Keaton? Are they going to keep Ben Affleck? Are they going to do both of them? Are they going to swap the releases again? So it's like, that whole thing is a debacle, and that's not even counting the Ezra Miller stuff on top of that, where now it's looking like they're going to keep him because he's probably going to get rehab or he's showing remorse, and they're probably going to keep him because the movie is testing so well.
Yeah, that's what I said. I told you guys, I'm like, I bet you it's really good. That's why nothing is going on with Ezra Miller. I'm
okay, let me play devil's advocate for this, is they invested so much money at this and they already cut off Batgirl and everything else. They can't keep taking massive losses like this. Otherwise, you have business failure. So they need to market it that it's still a successful movie. So they may be doing this to salvage the marketing, but not necessarily the long term. If Ezra Miller really doesn't seek the help that he really needs to get, you know what I'm saying? Like it could all just be fluff right now. He could be doing a little bit just to make peace, go on the tour, get the movie out. But if he continues to still mess up, dude, he's gonna be out long term.
Yeah.
Like,
Because right now, supposedly, it's testing better than The Dark Knight did for them.
okay. I find that so impossible. I find that so impossible that I to me it sounds like complete bullshit because you want to put my ass in the seat to watch it when it comes out, which I'm still gonna watch it.
What you're
we're
gonna do?
fucking comic
Because you
book
know what?
nerds.
Because it goes both
Yeah.
ways, right? It's like, yeah, it's testing better than Dark Knight, and then the first person's like, oh hell yeah, I'm watching that, and then there's you, no fucking way, I got to see this for myself, no fucking way,
Yeah.
and then you do.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, man, you're not beating what Christopher Nolan did. You know what I'm saying? And like Heath Ledger, like, nah, I'm not. No.
Yeah. No, I don't believe it, but I'd be curious to see if it truly is that good and is testing well. Do they choose to keep Ezra regardless, just because they see too much money in keeping him for future projects, especially if his actions don't affect the ticket sales going forward? Do they turn the blind eye to keep him? Because we know in this world, as long as you can provide benefit for someone, you can get away with more. So
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how this plays out once that finally comes out. You know, if Ezra
Yeah.
doesn't like kidnap or murder or anyone before then.
You still have to take into effect audience's reaction to this person. So even if the movie's good, he's souring the perception of how people feel about him. So you're gonna have some people that are like, screw that dude, I'm not gonna go watch his shit. And then you're gonna lose out. So they have to, again, that's why they have to market, and they're trying to save face big time with this guy, because right now he's not testing well at all. So like you need to sell everything you possibly can. Yes, he put out a statement. Obviously, they don't want him in front of the camera yet. They're trying to Will Smith it a little bit by trying to keep you low wraps, and then you're slowly releasing stuff, seeing how people respond to that. That's kind of what they're doing right now. But it's just I just don't have confidence what Warner Brothers has been putting out. They haven't dropped an amazing 9.5, 10 superhero movie yet. So why would Flash all of a sudden be the one with a messed up Ezra Miller? Like,
That's
seriously,
why. That's exactly
like,
why.
I'm being honest. Like,
That's
maybe
my Flash.
I liked Ezra Miller before, man. Like, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, he was cool. Like, he had the quick whip and all that. Like, I liked him as the Flash. I liked him in some of his other movies. Just his personal life is just like, dude, like, what is wrong with you?
And it's like they've been flip-flopping so much as a whole, even before this merger, on their vision. Like first they started off and they wanted to be the MCU. So they were like trying to copy it. And then that failed colossal, big.
Yeah.
And then they decided to go like, okay, you know what, we're not gonna create this huge shared universe. Let's just do which has worked out for them. Let's do more director centric, contained stories, just worry about quality, more about linking everything together. And they have found more success, the Joker, Batman. So they've done good with that. But then now the CEO is saying they want to go back to the MCU style universe. So they want to restart that aspect and create that again. So it's like now they're moving away from something that has yielded good results with quality movies to go back to what already failed in the past. And they're trying to find their Kevin Feige.
But what's the difference is that they have new people in charge, Jose. So they think they're going to fix it.
Yeah, they can, you know what? They can do it. It just takes time and it needs to happen organically, like you can't force it. Like put out good stuff, put out, these projects that don't necessarily include the other universe already, put them out and then organically put them together over time, and I think that's what the MCU did, but I don't know,
And stop hiring controversial actors. The ones that don't tend to test better. The ones that do come with controversy, you're having these issues. And it's like, you got to stop, man. Like, sure, it worked for Robert Downey Jr., but he's been decades past his controversy when he came back as Tony Stark. Like that, you got to just, You can't take chances right now. You need to be able to play it safe because you guys are screwing up every time you take a chance. Every
Yeah,
time
who
you
does-
have like a below 50% chance of nailing it, you're missing it every time.
yeah. Who
That's
does the
what it's
DCU have like that? They got Ezra Miller. They got Amber
well.
Heard.
Jason, even Ben Affleck's had controversy in his own personal life. So Jason
Hmm.
Momoa, Gal Gadot, like they're holding it down. They're more safer
Yeah.
people. They're safer options. And Henry Cavill, like you're not seeing those issues with these guys because they're professionals. They keep
and
their
and the,
personal life hidden.
and they're like doing everything they can to push Cavill away, and it's like
Yes, that's
you've
Why
got a
what
is he?
does
Is
star
he?
here.
Is he difficult to work with or something? Or
no.
Nothing like that has come
Yeah.
out. It's just WB being WB for
so
some
weird.
reason.
The most controversial thing he's done is paint little figurines. That's it.
Yeah,
He
and
That's
build
the
built a
dirt.
computers.
built a computer.
Built a
Yeah.
computer.
Went to Comic-Con in disguise and hung out with people. Like
Yeah.
that fucking dude. Sorry, mom. That dude was born to play Superman, dude. He's
Yeah.
got the look, that just everything. Like
And he knows the material. He studied up.
He's
He read his comics. He
He's a
even knew
comic guy.
storylines that he wanted to do.
yeah,
For
he's
sure.
perfect, dude. I don't know what
All right.
that one
I don't-
frustrates me the most though, but
So
Yeah.
a question for you guys. Can you see WB turning it around?
I think it is salvageable right now for two reasons. No, well, one main reason is the properties that they own. They're still attractive properties. Even with all the failed movies, even with the first Suicide Squad and the Justice League and all of those bombs, you see a DC movie coming up, I still get excited. I'm still like hoping that it'll be good, but I still want to see more good Batman, more good Superman, more good like DC characters. So you got those properties. For even though they don't do too much with it, Looney Tunes is still a big property. So they have under the umbrella right now enough properties that if they do it right, they can turn it around because those
Yeah.
properties bring people's asses to the seats.
Yeah.
What worries me that tells me maybe they can't turn it around is over the last like 2 years, they've done very bad damage to their relationships with creatives. First, when they announced that they were going to release all those movies straight to streaming during the pandemic, and that fractured their relationship with Christopher Nolan. So who knows if they can repair that one. There was a bunch of other directors that were upset on that. We have Legendary Entertainment now that wants to split away from their partnership. A lot of it is because of that decision during the pandemic, and they're like Godzilla versus King Kong movie got released straight to DVD, and they weren't too happy with that. And then what they just did with Batgirl. So, when if you're gonna have a director or actors and stuff, they're gonna have in the back of their mind, like, am I gonna use all this time, put in all this work, spend 8 months, a year and a half with this movie, and then they're gonna be like, nah, tax write-off.
Yeah.
So they need to
delete.
regain the confidence with their creatives in the industry.
what does
Yeah.
that do for Dune? Isn't Dune with Legendary too?
Yeah,
because the director got super upset when they released the first one on HBO Max and was like, I filmed this with the intention to be in theaters. So he got super upset. I know Edgar Wright got upset about it too, because they released his movie like that. And as a filmmaker, it's so disrespectful to do something like that. It's such a lack of respect because as filmmakers, you're not seeing this as a business, right? You're seeing this as art. And I understand for the studios, it's a business, but that's when you make it more obvious and known that it's more business than it is about the art, then the artist automatically doesn't feel respected. So let me go to Disney that has more money, has a better track record, and they're going to let me do my thing. It's a pretty obvious choice at that point.
Yeah, one of the companies that are rumoring that like Legendary might team up with is Universal, because they're one of the few that does not have a streaming service right now. So it's like they can't put their stuff to
Well, they have
streaming 'cause they don't-
Peacock, right? Because they own
Is that
NBC.
Universal?
They own NBC. and Peacock's NBC, isn't it?
Oh,
So technically they do, but it's not branded as Universal. But
yeah, it's not like a
Yeah.
Paramount Plus or a
Yeah.
HBO
Yeah.
Max, things like that. But
Yeah.
what about you guys? You guys think there's a chance of it turning around?
I think so, but like I said earlier, like I think it just takes time. You know, it takes time, and like I said, you have all those properties, and you have Batman, you have Superman, you have Wonder Woman, Looney Tunes, you have all that stuff. You know, like just put it out there the way it's supposed to be put out there. Like make good decisions, get someone in there who's going to do that. You know, but once they start trying to compete or race or do this other shit, like that's when things get all fucked up. You know, so messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way, sort of repeating what you said, Jose. They have the properties to make it successful. Right now, they have a lot of damage control to do. And the people that are in place right now, the fact that it's new people, you always hope that there's hope for them. Like maybe these are the right ones, but them canceling stuff like Batgirl and all that, like that's very disrespectful. So I don't know if this is, so it may just take longer. They can always turn it around eventually, right? Because nobody expected what Disney did with Marvel movies. None of us freaking expected this. Like we didn't expect this level of quality of movies that are legit films. Like these are amazing films. I didn't expect that. So DC definitely has it in them. They've showed being in the 80s, 90s, like they've had great movies back then, you know, with superhero movies. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, like they let him do his thing with the Dark Knight trilogy. Even the Joker was great. They're giving us a sequel. It's in them. They just gotta let the artists do their thing. That's it. You gotta let them do their thing.
It's a matter like, are they gonna end up rebuilding like the Golden State Warriors? Or they're gonna be like the Thunder who are rebuilding for like 6 years straight and still haven't done
Right
it.
now, the Thunder. Right now, the Thunder. They keep rebuilding. Like okay, you know, oh, we did the Zack Snyderverse, didn't work. Great, we're rebranding. Now we're doing these. Now we're in a weird transition with Aquaman 2, where it's and you know Flash, where you're saying you're done with this universe, but you're still using the same characters, but you're telling us it's a new era and a new phase, but it's not because these people still share the screen and the universe with these other ones. So either just cut it off and start fresh or don't. Like you can't sit in the midway point of this, like commit or don't commit, hit it or quit it. All right, guys, thanks for watching another episode. Please like, subscribe, comment, share everything on our YouTube page, Not a Strong Start. You can also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Not a Strong Start. Please give us those likes because Chuck doesn't want to see no more 85%. We want 100%, people. Please like, please share, subscribe, please. We need it. Thank you. Oh, I'm your host. I'm Batman, King_Sangre.
I'm El Batman. You can find me at This Is Mi Nombre.
I'm Batgirl, and you can't find me anywhere because I got fucking deleted.